Alright, we're gonna get started here. Logan and I just wanted to thank everybody for coming out. We've got a few people that want to say a few words, and then we'll get going with the dance. So if you need to grab a beer, now's the time to do that. Turn it off to Julia.
Alright, for those who don't know me, I'm Julia, Rosie's maid of honor. To be honest, I never would have believed I'd ever be Rosie Jones's maid of honor. A lot of friendships, they start on the playground, during sports, or in a classroom, except for ours. Safe to say we all have an idea of the girl world. Mean, catty, but the odds were against us when we first met about 5 years ago. But when Rosie reached out to me, she did it with open arms, which is, to sum up Rosie, it's pretty beautiful. She's the type of person that wants anyone she encounters to feel loved, cared for, and it's easily my favorite thing about her. 1 John 3:18, let us not love with words or tongue, but with actions and truth. She reached out to me with open arms and God in her heart. She has done that ever since, and she's always right there in that loving, exact way. I have never met someone so beautiful, goofy, weird, and kind. On top of that, a great love for God. It's beautiful to have that connection with your best friend. We were able to see that the things that we had gone through was God working in our lives and growing us together to beat those odds, to bring us together as the friends we are today. Rosie once said to me, our friendship isn't about how long we've known each other, it's about the quality of time we've had together, and it can't be any more true. I'm very thankful to have gotten to stand next to you today, as you say I do. I have found the one whom my soul loves, Songs of Solomon. I have endless stories and memories of Logan and Rosie, but two always stick out. First one is when I first heard about him, we were getting ready, and I'll never forget how much she talked about that hot baseball player. I heard endless texting conversations, and I wish I could have recorded each one. From the outside looking in, it seemed as if they knew that they were destined to be together. And when Rosie and Logan had first started dating, you could just see her smile bigger, and finally, just a deep breath of fresh air. And that's what Logan is and was. You could just definitely sense a lot of peace in Rosie's heart. The second one is when Rosie and Logan had only been dating for 2 weeks. Rosie and I were laying in my bed, dipping Doritos and Cheetos in Miracle Whip. Logan had called her, they talked for a little bit, and when they hung up, I heard Rosie say, I love you too. I remember looking at her in complete shock, and she just looked at me and said, I know, but I love him. That was 3 years ago. Equal partnerships are not made in heaven, they are made on earth. One choice at a time, one conversation at a time, one threshold crossing at a time. You guys were made for each other. I have watched you both grow together, love each other more and more through each good and bad time, and continue to push each other to be better. I am blessed to have witnessed your love story from the start. Logan, thank you for taking care of my best friend and loving her, standing by her side, and I know that will never change. I'm unbelievably happy for you both. Happiness in my heart, it's amazing. Congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Felton. I love you both. Best man.
Good luck, buddy.
I gotta follow that. Beautiful. Hi, everyone. As some of you know, my name is Payton, and I am Logan's best man, as well as his 1 year younger but 5 years wiser brother. I figured I'd start by addressing the elephant in the room, which is why, out of all of his brothers, I was selected to be the best man. Well, from what I witnessed today, with weddings comes a ton of pictures. Logan and Rosie are going to have to look at these pictures for the rest of their life, so they wanted the best looking guy to be next to them. Here I am. I figured I'd keep this short, but as I was writing this on at 1 a.m. Monday morning, I kept remembering all the dumb things Logan's done in his 23 years. This is about 6 pages. All jokes aside, I want to start by thanking my mom and dad, Brenda and Jim. Thanks, Mom and Dad, for instilling me and my family from a young age the importance of building relationships amongst ourselves. Growing up on a farm miles from town, my brothers, my sister, and I were forced to do things on our own. It was in those years living on the farm that family became so important to me and my brothers, and my sister Megan. Naturally, for us boys, we played sports for enjoyment. It was always Logan and I against Evan and Landon. And I'm not kidding, 90% of these games ended in all-out brawls. Megan locking us outside for lunch and dinner. Dad would save us, thanks Dad. That was simply because it wasn't fair for Evan to hit so many damn home runs. He was a full-grown man by the time he was 6 years old, and he had a mustache by the time he was 9. In all seriousness, it was because of these guys that my childhood was so great. I think I looked up to Logan more than anyone in high school. He was one of the best athletes, most humble and shy person that I've ever met. From throwing a baseball 90 miles an hour to running people over in football, I'm not kidding when I say this kid could do just about anything, except run long distance. One specific memory I have was either from my junior or sophomore year. Jay could tell you the exact date and his batting average. But we were playing Cascade in a playoff game. We were losing 3-0 in one of the last innings. I think there was 2 outs, 3 runners on base. Logan had just torn his MCL about a week and a half earlier. Decided he was going to play with a 70-pound knee brace on his knee. The second pitch, he hits a grand slam, hobbled around the bases. 15 minutes later, when he reached home plate, we won the game. That was just the kind of athlete he was. Oftentimes, I have people ask me if I miss sports from high school, and the answer to that is yes. Though it's not actually playing sports that I miss. I miss watching this guy strike kids out while I'm sitting on second base, and I miss watching him set the high school record for Monticello for most wins, only to be one up by Landon. I enjoyed more than anything watching Logan play in high school, watching him win, and that's something I won't forget. Now on to Rosie. It only makes sense that Logan and Rosie met playing sports in college. Logan baseball, Rosie softball at Mount Mercy. I can remember when Logan told me that he'd been talking to a girl he met at school. My first thought, how did Logan meet a girl? I'm sure about almost all of you know, Logan is not the type of guy to make a move on a girl. But he told me he was sitting in class, in the corner. Rosie walks in and she turns and looks at him, gives him a shit grin and winks at him. That is exactly Rosie's personality. My second thought, he told me he was talking to a girl named Rosie Jones. I think I'm thinking the same thing you are. That is the coolest name I have ever heard in my life. Sure enough, her dad's name is Mike Jones. Who?
Mike Jones!
Mike Jones. The people under 30 will understand that reference. In all honesty, Logan, I think you should have switched your last name to Jones. No, I think Rosie was a little worried coming into this that I was going to tell some embarrassing stories. Believe me, I had more than a handful to choose from. I decided instead to give a little insight into what Rosie has done for my family. First off, he gave my mother another girl to hang out with family functions. My mom loves Rosie more than Logan. No, just kidding. Maybe, I don't know. I think my mom, in her young and beautiful life, has complained for an entire year about having 5 boys and 1 girl. So, here's another girl, Mom. Aside from pure joy you bring my mom, Rosie. I think I can speak on behalf of my brothers and my sister, Megan, in saying that these past few years we've had you around has been nothing shy of amazing. I don't know if it's your ability to make us laugh, smile, your big heart, or the fact that you like drinking Busch Light and watching football with us on Sunday. But something about you won this family over immediately. It's my honor to call you my sister. And it could be impossible for me to stand up here and try to summarize the past 22 years I've spent as a brother and a friend to Logan. But one thing I know is I've never seen him happier than it's been these past couple of years since Rosie and her family's been in his life. On that note, I'd like to raise a glass and make a toast to Logan and Rosie Jones. Here it comes.
Yeah.
Here's to watching your children hitting home runs in 15 years. Anyone else? Marianne. I think Marianne wanted to say something.
Man, that was a 1 a.m. speech.
This beautiful woman. Here's Marianne.
All right. We are totally in trouble now. Scooch over. Oh, yeah. Thank you. All right, 4 beers later and perhaps a little wordy here, but here we go. The first time I met Rosie on Breckenridge, Felton's house. Remember that, Logan? Oh yeah, I remember that. Logan, Rosie, all kick back. There's Rosie, big old smile, see a big old smile. Oh yeah. I told Jim and Brenda they're getting married. First night, I knew it. Is that correct? Yes? Yes. Absolutely. Love was in the air that evening. And I can't beat your speech here, buddy, but I want to tell you this. I told Jim and Brenda they're going to get married. And like Rosie's all over that. She was in love with him the first night. She's like, oh, isn't he cute? Isn't he cute? And Logan's like, right? Am I correct? How did he propose to you?
I came home from work and he had a note on our dogs because we love our dogs and said, will you marry Dad? And he was standing up there, ghost white, shaking, and the only thing that came out was, will you marry me?
Because Logan's actions speak louder than words, right? Absolutely. Here's a man who loves his wife, and his actions spoke today to say, I love you, I want you to be my wife forever, and that's where we're at tonight. And we would like to congratulate you and thank you for getting married, buddy. Because you don't want to speak tonight, do you? No. If you could speak tonight, what would you say to her? He would say, I love you, Rosie, and 5 years from now, this is what we're going to do. We're going to have a baby, and it's all going to be okay, right? Exactly. Congratulations, guys. We all love you.
Payton.